Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kevin Bartlett Reserve, where we've got a hell of a clash on our hands. It is the round 3 Australia Cup tie. We're billing it as the Battle of the River. North versus South. Fitzroy City taking on South Yarra. Here live on FNR Football Nation Radio. I'm Josh Parrish, my co-commentator for the day, Damir Kulash. Hello to you.
How are you, Josh? Pleasure to be here.
Absolute pleasure. And we're also delighted to be joined pre-game by the head coach of Fitzroy City, Nick Kovacevic. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about this squad and how they've come together before this big game.
Oh, look, I think like everyone, new year, you never know what you're going to get, especially after the last 2 years. But look, I think the club's pretty buoyant. I think we've assembled a pretty good team, and we're going to have a good crack at State 1 South East, I think.
Well, you've had plenty of experience in higher divisions and so forth. You've been able to pass a bit of that on to this playing group?
Oh, well, I hope so. I hope so. Look, obviously there's a few players that we've signed that know me, so they should know what we're about, and I expect them to obviously leave a mark this year on State 1.
What would a cup run mean for the club this season?
Oh, look, I mean, I've been involved in some really good cup runs, and it's fantastic for the club. It's such a good tournament. And even for South Yarra, I mean, cup sets happen. We've seen them happen. And it's great that we can have a tournament like this in Australia. I think it's fantastic.
Well, we'll let you get back to your team before the big game. Nick, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We'll take a very short break before kickoff here. Coming up, Fitzroy City versus South Yarra. Stick around. Here before kickoff with Resi's coach from South Yarra, Danny Innes. Danny, thank you for joining us.
No problem.
Tell us a little bit about this group and how they're shaping up for this big game.
Yeah, coming off the back of a really strong season last year, they finished second just before COVID obviously interrupted the season, and we're very confident of getting promoted. So we've kind of tried to take that momentum into the pre-season. It's been up and down. We lost a few players as well coming into this pre-season, but we're feeling very confident. Lovely surface out there as well, so we're really hoping that we can implement our passing game.
Well, immaculate playing surface, as you say. Great occasion, Australia Cup. What would a cup run mean to South Yarra this season?
Oh, I mean, look, it's just great to be involved even at this stage and having had an early win under your belt. It's probably not a priority in terms of the season itself, but the chance to come up against some of the bigger clubs in State 1 and State 2, chances that you always relish at this stage of the season.
Anyone we should be looking out for in the South Yarra team? Any hidden gems that might make an impact?
Yeah, Richie up top. You'll see him with the very 1970s Australian Mo parading around the edge of the opposition box. Anything from about 25 yards, get him on the ball. He's a really exciting player. He loves going at players and he loves being a menace around the penalty box. So, yeah, keep your eyes on him.
Danny, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to pause now for a minute's silence for the great Jim Miloslavljevic. So we'll pause for the minute's silence and then kick off coming up. Danny, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Vale, Jim Miloslavljevic, goalkeeper who is part of the squad that went to the World Cup for Australia in 1974. Did everything in the game as a player, as a coach, as an administrator, even as a referee. He will be sorely missed. Well, here we go. There's nothing quite like knockout football, is there? Fitzroy City versus South Yarra in the third round of the Australia Cup. Both of these teams daring to dream a matchup with one of the big boys in Victorian football. Josh Parrish here alongside Damir Kulash. Damir, it's a beautiful day for it, a beautiful pitch for it too.
Yeah, we've had a bit of rain, you could say, overnight here in Melbourne, but the pitch has held up well. It's always one of the more challenging pitches from a drainage perspective, just because it's right next to the freeway and been played and also refereed games at this pitch before when it's been an absolute puddle, but it's held up really well today as we see Fitzroy City with kickoff and they're maintaining possession here. Looking at that defensive partnership that they've got with experience to their names in Thomas Lukic and Milos Ilic, both players that did feature in the top flight of Victorian football only a few seasons ago.
Might be an early chance for Fitzroy here as they capitalise on a defensive mistake. It's cut back to the top of the box. Pass doesn't quite meet its target. Wearing the captain's armband today, Thomas Lukic, at the base of the midfield directing traffic, the number 8.
Yeah, I remember him as primarily a centre-half. He was also capable of playing right back during his time with the likes of the Oakley Cannons, Box Hill United, Northcote City. I think he also had a spell at Springvale White Eagles. He's found a home here at Fitzroy City, and he's going to be a key player for Nick Kovacevic's men over the course of the 2022 State League 1 South East season.
Dos Santos was fouled. The first free kick of the match. All the early possession. The team in red and blue. look for Pimenta. He can't beat two players. Direct up to the centre forward. James Papadimitriou, and the number 9 for South Yarra today. What's that? Damir Stojlovic on the left-hand side. He's picked out a player in the box. It's an early chance, and it's in. Fitzroy City, well, they didn't waste any time. They take the lead in this home Australia Cup tie. It is 1-0 here at Kevin Bartlett.
And it's a great strike from Pimenta. Found himself in a great position and executed it perfectly to give Fitzroy an early lead. And if you're South Yarra, you couldn't have had a worse start to the game. We know that there is a disparity between the two teams in terms of respective tiers of football that they play in. So I'm sure the South Yarra coaching staff was hoping for a bit more of a resolute effort from their defensive side of things in the opening few minutes, but Fitzroy City have picked them apart, and they'll look for a second here with Papadimitriou on the ball. He's got Pimenta there.
Here's Pimenta again to make it 2. And just slices wide of the far post. Took a touch on the way. It'll be a Fitzroy City corner.
Well, if they weren't happy about conceding the first, it would have been a nightmare start if they had conceded a second directly from kickoff as well. Lost possession, and Papadimitriou and Pimenta combined well. Corner kick from Stojlovic comes in, but it's headed away. And Fitzroy, South Yarra will just have to lump it up long here. That's Lees on the ball. Lukic with it now.
Enrique Pimenta has made his mark early. Picked out by Damir Stojlovic for the goal.
Yeah, Stojlovic is a big addition for Fitzroy City this season. Player with considerable NPL2 experience over the last 5 or so years with the likes of Springvale White Eagles and Lang Warren.
Papadimitriou. Might get the ball back here. James Papadimitriou. He goes down. No appeals for a penalty. It's Dos Santos now. Lays it back. Ball into the feet of Papadimitriou, but can't quite find the angle on the turn.
It was nice combination work there again from Fitzroy. Maxim Milic in midfield, I think, is another player to watch. He's the younger brother of Fitzroy City centre half Miloš Ilic. Both those two came through at Heidelberg. I think Maxim might have in fact been part of the same youth team that featured Dandenong City striker Marko Delic, as well as Nathan Eresh.
And here's Papadimitriou around the goalkeeper. It's saved off the line. They are piling the pressure on early. It was Enrique Pimenta dancing through a narrow gap. Papadimitriou, that's a huge chance go begging.
In terms of top-tier experience, Josh, no player on the pitch currently has more than James Papadimitriou, formerly of the Moreland Zebras and Northcote City.
Tough one for the goalkeeper. Crowded 6-yard box, but they get it away. South Yarra. It's the number 7, Warren Lewis, on the line, who was the hero moments before. With Gabriel Valese, Fitzroy City goal. They build up from the back here. Lovely turn, beats 2 players. Pass. His teammate caught short. Still it falls for Dos Santos. Now Stojlovic turns this way and that. Leaves his marker in the dust and tries to send the ball in early for Pimenta. Get a second crack at it. Stojlovic into the feet of Ilic. Went in a little late there.
And the South Yarra player there is gotten up now, a bit gingerly. Handshakes exchanged between the two players. I think South Yarra player in question there, Woody Maxi Graham, understanding that there was no malice in that challenge, just came a bit late there from Maxi Milic.
Milic on the ball. Back with Lukic, dropping in between the centre halves in the build-up. Pimenta would have been offside. Lewis. South Yarra trying to build something now. It's Richard Morrissey. Early ball, but that should be easy pickings for the goalkeeper, and indeed it is. Stojlovic assessing his options. Slightly risky ball back to his centre half. Comes off though. Spraying this ball around confidently now, Fitzroy City. Lovely turn. And an early ball in for Stojlovic to chase. This won't count. Would have been offside. Assistant referee on the near side had his flag up. Lovely work from the right back, Connor Lees.
I think from a competitive standpoint, you'd hope that South Yarra now finds an opportunity to settle into the game and can put the goal they've conceded behind them.
Dos Santos trying the audacious over the crossbar.
I think William Lawrence, the South Yarra goalkeeper, was quite confident that that one was going over quite early on, so just gave up on it. I think it ended up being a bit closer to goal than might have liked, but ultimately no danger there for South Yarra.
Goalkeeper forced into the early clearance. Falls kindly for Stavru. And snuffed out as quickly as it eventuated.
In terms of the Fitzroy City team, Damir Stojlovic coming across from Langwarrin, not the only player who's made the move from Langwarrin to Fitzroy City recently. They did sign Bojo Milojevic as well. He's absent today. It is wedding season in the Serbian community, so that explains his absence, as Coach Nick Kovacevic explained to us pre-game. He's actually, Kovacevic that is, has worked with both those players previously at Springvale White Eagles.
And that's a magnificent ball by Damir Stojlovic to pick out the goal scorer, Pimenta. He cuts inside and has a crack himself, and it's a wonderful goal. He doubles his tally for the day, Enrique Pimenta, causing all sorts of havoc. And Fitzroy City take a commanding 2-goal lead.
And it's that combination again, Stojlovic to Pimenta, had a lot to do there. Pimenta cut inside and finished well into the near post of Lawrence to double Fitzroy City's lead. And I tell you what, these two are sending out a warning signal to State League 1 Southeast defenders for the 2022 season, because if they catch fire like they have today, there's going to be a lot of defences that have problems throughout the course of the season.
Looking very, very impressive in this early season Australia Cup hit out. And Richard Morrissey, the South Yarra captain, the man with the 70s mo, as South Yarra's Resi's coach dubbed it before kickoff, is perhaps their most likely route to goal. ball. Warren Lewis cuts it out with the header. Well anticipated by Lockage. Shouts of get it out from the Fitzroy City fans here on the near side, but Nick Kovacevic's side sticking to their principles, and they've worked it beautifully from right to left here. Ball bounced up unkindly on Illich. Clearance falls straight to Dos Santos. Handball given against Kevin Dos Santos there. Much to his disbelief, but they win it back instantly through Connor Lees. And the through ball just wrong-footed on Enrique Pimenta there.
I did say watch out to State League 1 Southeast defences if Pimenta and Stojlovic get going like they have early on in this half. You're going to also ask yourself how both players are playing at this level, but Fitzroy City have done their recruitment well to have ensured both will be playing out of Kevin Bartlett reserve to start the season, as we see a foul on South Yarra man there by Lees would give the visitors a set-piece opportunity and maybe their first sight of goal here, Josh.
Well, they're not short of tall timber either. It's Richard Morrissey who won the free kick. The likes of Benjamin Robinson, the big number 11, an obvious target at the back post. He's the left foot of AJ Cunningham, positioned over this dead ball. It's a good delivery too. Free header, but no real purchase on it. Chance to strike off the second ball, but that one always looked off target as soon as it left the boot of Samuel Morgan. Kurt Emery trying to create some space. Got some help from his fullback, Benjamin Schwab. Takes the throw in quickly towards Cunningham. It's cleared to Pimenta. Hard but fair challenge. Cunningham tries something a little elaborate, turning it around the corner, but it doesn't come off. Dos Santos for Stojlovic. Demetrio lays the ball off. Lukic. Lees. Here's the throwing. Pimenta trying everything to get the ball off this guy, and they just about succeed. Agricultural approach taken, but a legal one. Cunningham. Morrissey had to watch the offside. He's darted back and he's taken down. And that could be a booking. It is. Yellow card out for Milos Ilic. Bit of a cynical foul there, Damir.
Yeah, he's one player that is quite hard-nosed, Milos Ilic, and it's quite common for him to find himself in the referee's notebook. I guess from his perspective there, it was one of those challenges that he had to make, but we are still quite early on in this contest, so he's going to be walking a tightrope throughout the course of the remainder of the game.
Did he ever make it into your notebook, Dom? Got a referee alongside me. Might make the most of it.
I have refereed him before when he was playing in Heidelberg 20s. a couple of times. I don't recall if he got yellow carded, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did.
Diplomatic answer. Good ball in from Cunningham again. Bit of hesitation from South Yarra, and they might be made to pay on the counter-attack. Papadimitriou. South Yarra have players back behind the ball now. Fitzroy will take a more considered approach.
And don't get me wrong, that's not to say he's a dirty player. He's just one of those players that when he tackles you, he definitely lets you know, that
you've
he's
been
there.
tackled.
Yeah.
It's the second foul of the day too, so I'm surprised the referee put the slice of cheese out for that one. Pimenta waiting in space on the far side. He tries the first time layoff. It was good awareness. Stojlovic was making the run through, and then he's taken out unceremoniously.
A few players from Fitzroy City, and you also hear a cry from the bench asking for a yellow card, but I think that was just one of those ones where Pimenta just got to the ball first and wasn't necessarily a lot of malice there.
Augustus Getley, player, took him out. It's taken quickly too. Stojlovic's cross. Cunningham flicks it away, but only as far as Papadimitriou. Now they can recycle the ball. Larkic. It's over the head of Pimenta. It down. Getley picks out Morrissey on the left-hand side. He drives it in low, and he had a player arriving at the back post too, but it's nowhere near enough power on the cross to beat the goalkeeper. Stavru, touch deserted him, but last touch of a Fitzroy player. Benjamin Schwab to take the throw. Finds Cunningham, who's been lively for South Yarra so far. Not as lively as this man, though. They feed again from Enrique Pimenta. They're playing the inside-out wingers, Damir. They can both cut inside. Stojlovic and Pimenta makes it very dangerous. Here he is again. Leaves. With Larkic. Dimitrio's drifted out to the left-hand side, but it's well anticipated by Benjamin Schwab. Immediately given away. Dos Santos. Stojlovic. Appeals for handball.
Looked like a handball there, but based on our view, we had a pretty good position to make that assessment. I think the referee didn't have the best of angles. It was on his blind side, so you can forgive him for missing that one. Just in generally, I think you can forgive referees for missing the most obvious of calls. But as we know, it's not always the case.
A member of the referees union would say that.
Hey, you've refereed as well, don't
That's true.
Don't try and distance yourself from us.
Getley's throw. Larkic just edging Stavru out of the contest. Now Lees using his body well. Stojlovic. A real creative presence. Fitzroy so far was anticipating a run that never came from Pimenta. Rakic with a header into no man's land. Stavrey's flick on. And Morrissey will pick up a rather cheap free kick, would you say?
Yeah, I think there was a bit of contact there. Maybe Morrissey made the most of it, but still a free kick. It's not one of those with Village on a yellow. I don't think it's one that should be taken into consideration for anything further.
It's pretty innocuous, but a foul nonetheless.
Yeah.
Played quickly down the line for Morrissey. He feels he's had his heels clipped and it was just outside the area.
And Morrissey's giving the Fitzroy City defence plenty of problems. Haven't seen any other South Yarra player really do that so far, but Morrissey's definitely stepped up to the mark, and see if they're able to produce something from this set piece opportunity.
Will be AJ Cunningham on set piece duties again. He dinks it into the area and just tipped onto the roof of the net.
It's a good save. Belacy had to stay alert there, and I think what helped him was the fact that the ball had looped over. It wasn't a lot of power in that one. It allowed him enough time to time his save to perfection and tip it over the bar.
I believe it was Maxi Graham's header. Almost looked as if he might have been held there as well. Dangerous one again. Ball allowed to drop in the 6-yard box. Stavrey can't get a shot away. Set piece delivery from Richard Morrissey. Morgan. Good switch to find Morrissey again. He takes on Lees. Past 3 players. Really impressive run this. Eventually he's crowded out. One for Stavrey to chase and put some pressure on. Alex Pavasevic hoofed it away. Maxi Graham, surely a foul. Pimenta penalised. Free kick taken quickly. Pimenta caught napping, but not fooling Connolly's then. Pavasevic. Illich. 2-goal cushion. Fitzroy City can take their time.
Yeah, South Yarra have gotten better as the game's gone on, as we see Lees chasing this ball, and he's got him there.
Just lost his footing, slippery patch of turf. It's fallen straight to Illich, who might have a shot himself. Instead, he lays it off unselfishly. Shot was blocked.
Yeah, South Yarra's defence got enough numbers in front of the ball to prevent Papadimitriou from having any good opportunity there.
Seems to be a bit of a Latin or South American influence on this Fitzroy City side.
Yeah, definitely.
Dos Santos, Pimenta, Bonilla, Ospina on the left-hand side, number 7. Here he is, Enrique Pimenta. 2 goals to his name already. That one was curling, difficult for the goalkeeper. And the follow-up off target from Papadimitriou. Glorious chance.
Should have done better there, Papadimitriou. Got presented with a gift there, but just couldn't get the placement right. And ultimately, South Yarra survived a scare there. I think you can comfortably say that had that gone in, it would have been curtains for the contest.
Cunningham. Which in the way. Penalised for climbing was Warren Lewis. Now Stojlovic. A throw in deep in opposition territory. Quickly to Dos Santos. Now Bonilla Ospina to swing one in. Goalkeeper always looks a little nervous coming out for those. William Lawrence is a rough day so far.
And never a good start when you concede in the opening 60 to 90 seconds of the contest, but I think as a whole he hasn't really been at fault for either goal. Just had a couple of nervy moments. So we see a South Yarra player down, holding his back.
And that is the key man, Richie Morrissey. It's not what you want to see if you're on the South Yarra bench. Looks to be okay to continue.
Captain as well, Morrissey, so they don't want to lose a player of his experience and quality.
And by far the standout for the South Yarra team so far. Caused all sorts of problems, even as his team trail. He wins a slide tackle. Cunningham around Lees. Poor touch from Woody Graham. Better touch that time from the South Yarra centre half to send the key man away on another run. No teammate in support. Look at the frustration. And Richie Morrissey just needs somebody supporting him. And now Damir Stojlovic can gallop away. He cuts inside and his shot hits his teammate. Papadimitriou in the way and offside, if you don't mind.
Wasted opportunity there for Fitzroy City. They had numbers in attack. Stojlovic would have fancied himself from distance, has scored goals from that kind of range before. As we see the referee head over to the South Yarra bench, having a talking to their coach, Ben Haller.
And he's been booked as well for dissent. 2 yellow cards today, one for a Fitzroy City centre half and one for the South Yarra head coach. Lewis, poor touch. His teammate under pressure. Getley finds Stavro with a good pass. to with Cunningham. Comes off just about. Keeping this move alive. Getley into Stavro again, playing as the hold-up man. Difficult ball from Morrissey. Retain possession just about. Woody Graham. Run back by Dos Santos. Ilic for Papadimitriou, who's dropped very deep. And will trickle out for a South Yarra throw. Schwab. South Yarra trying to muster a response before half-time. It's all brought down by Augustus Getley. In the corner for Stavru. Markic makes it clear. Papadimitriou heads it down, and now it's 4-on-3. If they keep going quickly. Ilic for Stojlovic. South Yarra players running back in support. But that man, Enrique Pimenta, has been left in plenty of space. His right foot proves nowhere near as effective as his left, however.
It's not a hat-trick, of course. Pimenta, he would have thought after the opening 15 minutes that it was a good bet to get it before the halftime break, but he hasn't quite had the same amount of opportunity and space sense to add to his goal tally for the day. South Yarra becoming a bit wiser in their treatment of him.
Stojlovic being held by Schwab. Referee seems to be doing a bit of paperwork. Did we see a card come out there? Yep, looks like it. Yellow card for Ben Schwab.
Comes second player into the referee's notebook, and the third person to add to Haller, the South Yarra coach as well.
Markic. Ilic. Exchanging passes with Dos Santos. We lay off. Possession from Dos Santos.
Stojlovic looks offside.
Yeah, surely the assistant could see him preparing to put the flag up. Damir Stojlovic had become an active player.
I think he is waiting for that clear-cut opportunity to score a goal. Stojlovic to be quite clinical when he gets himself into a good position. But so far today, he's been the provider both times. Fitzroy City still command a 2-0 lead here.
Enrique Pimenta has been scythed down by Cunningham there. Advantage paid. Let's see if the official comes back to that one. Larkic. Stojlovic clips it over the top. Too heavy. And play will stop for the injured Enrique Pimenta. Last play you'd want to lose for Fitzroy City. And will Cunningham go into the book here? I think he will.
Yeah, I think the referee did play an advantage.
Always bring it back for the booking, of course. Cunningham's left his mark on the outstanding Fitzroy player in this first half.
see South Yarra, or both teams actually, take this as an opportunity to have a ad hoc drinks break.
It's getting hot out there. It was cool and muggy before the game. It's sweaty out there, but now the sun's come out. It's beating down on Kevin Bartlett Reserve. Great facility here. Actually served as the training base for the Vietnamese national team when they were down in Melbourne for that World Cup qualifier against the Socceroos. Convenient, I suppose. Proximity to Amy Park.
To be honest, I wasn't aware of that, so thank you for that fact, Josh. Definitely come prepared.
And players restarted here with some of the Fitzroy players still out of position from the drinks break. South Yarra the chance to spring. Tackle from Benia Ospina. Off by Maximilic. He sprays it for Stojlovic. Who strays the wrong side of the linesman's flag and meant to finish the chance anyway. Very versatile player, Damir Stojlovic. Often used as a wing-back under Scott Miller at Langwarrin in recent seasons, perhaps. This move to Fitzroy City will give him a bit more attacking freedom.
Yeah, you'd think he'd get more of an opportunity to play in his preferred position, but the things that is a worthy consideration on the back of today's game, as we see South Yarra attacking here, is in relation to how Nick Kovacevic deploys his starting 11 come the start of the season. Obviously, Pimenta, Stojlovic on either flank, but he's also got Vojo Milojevic, who isn't a bad player himself, to come in. Also, a winger, wide forward, who's capable of playing as a wing back or full back himself. So he's got plenty of depth, or I suppose quality is a better word really, when you consider quality of all three of those players. Could easily be starting in divisions above them and have been starting in the past as well.
Stover rules himself out of participating in this play. He's well offside. Certainly a lot of ambitious clubs in State League One looking for promotion. Caroline Springs, George Cross amongst them. Plenty of high-profile players in that team. Sydenham Park looking very strong this season as well.
And both those two teams are in State League One Northwest. Suppose for Fitzroy City, teams to watch in State League One Southeast. Melbourne City is one of them. They've had extensive recruitment campaigns so far this off-season. It's been spearheaded by one of their football operations managers, Dean Manair. Damien Iconis, the most notable of the signings. Mornington, I think, would also consider themselves to be a threat. Last season, I think they were doing quite well prior to the disruption. Other clubs in consideration, Casey Comets, they're led by Alan Mulcahy, the former Danong Thunder, Port Melbourne, Richmond midfielder.
Poor touch from Pimenta, just seemed to lose concentration. He's annoyed with himself for giving that one up so easily.
Of course, Richmond as well in that league. They do play their home games at the Serbian Sports Centre, which is also home to the Springvale White Eagles.
So play on called here on Cunningham. Appeared to handle the ball. Referee deems it accidental or incidental. Demetriou lays it off for Illich.
Let's see if Fitzroy can add a third just before the break here.
Pimenta, given one he's not willing to chase. Lewis elects to keep it in.
In terms of the Northwest, Banyule City, another club to keep an eye out on, led by former Port Melbourne Sharks coach Don Barber.
Gus Getley looking for an option here. He's the centre forward involved. He doesn't make it as far as Chris Stavry. Bonilla, Ospina. Dos Santos looks to beat his man for pace, but runs out of room. Robinson for Schwab. South Yarra maintain possession via the throw. Woody Graham. Looking for Cunningham, he loses his footing but gains territory with the last touch off a Fitzroy City player. And flag up from the assistant referee for holding. So another set-piece opportunity for South Yarra. They've come close from these types of situations before. It was Alexander Pavasovic who gave it away. AJ Cunningham to take. Six players in the area for South Yarra, one perched outside. Cunningham's ball in, it's flicked on, would have been an own goal, but straight. Goalkeeper Velez. Lees. Their 2-goal cushion, Fitzroy just need to see it out till half time and largely comfortable in this first half. Certainly most of their attacking headway came early in that first 15 minutes as South Yarra struggled to adapt to high division opposition.
And at the moment, it's all about maintaining this lead. They haven't had that many opportunities, particularly in the last 15 minutes for Fitzroy City, but let's see if they can potentially create one here.
Morgan just slamming that one into the fence.
The referee did have a look at his watch there.
Risky stuff.
Had to be careful there, Illich. Meanwhile, his younger brother Maxim slipped at the wrong moment. He's got the ball now.
And he rides the challenge too. Advantage paid past a second player. Still staying on his feet, Maxim Illich. It's too honest there. Could have won a free kick just outside the box if he wanted it. Room down the line and he'll win a corner.
He's
Great
done,
hustle.
yeah, he's done really well there, Maxim Illich. Persevered throughout a number of challenges coming his way. Ultimately held the ball up while then won his team a corner kick, which for a moment I thought was going to be taken quickly, but it's not to be.
A fake out routine from Papa Demetriou and Pimenta. Swung into the back post. Keeper doesn't claim. And that will be half-time here at Kevin Bartlett Reserve. State League 1 outfit, Fitzroy City, come out of the blocks very quickly. 2 goals from Enrique Pimenta set the game alight in the first 15 minutes. Could have had a hat-trick. South Yarra, to their credit, have regained their composure, regained their shape, And Richie Morrissey, number 14 on the left-hand side, the captain, has looked the most likely to drag them back into the contest. Damien Kulash, what have you made of it?
I think quite a strong first half performance from Fitzroy City. Did well to get to 2 goals quite early on through Pimenta and ultimately have command of this contest. Morrissey did look dangerous to South Yarra, but they haven't had too many clear-cut opportunities. And ultimately, the disparity between the two teams from a quality perspective has been on show in this first half. But still only 2-0. South Yarra, all they need is 1 goal to get themselves back into the contest. And we've got a game here at Kevin Bartlett Reserve. But for now, we'll halt proceedings for the halftime interval.
Thank you, Damia. We'll take a short break here at halftime on the FNR Football Nation radio live stream. The score at the interval, Fitzroy City 2, South Yarra 0. and about to get underway for this second half here of this round 3 Australia Cup tie here in Victoria. Live from Kevin Bartlett Reserve. Halftime score, Fitzroy City 2, South Yarra 0. Start with a bang, South Yarra. Claw their way back into this contest. Stuff couldn't quite get there. Papadimitriou lays it off to Stojlovic. Returns the favour. It's Papadimitriou! And it's just deflected wide. Just as in the first half when they scored within moments, Fitzroy City created a glorious opportunity. Less than a minute into the second 45. Desperate sliding challenge for a retreating South Yarra player. He's nicked that shot wide of the right hand upright. They stay in the contest. Whipped in by Enrique Pimenta. Goalkeeper doesn't get there. Hacked away by AJ Cunningham. Referee spots a push in the penalty area. Free kick for South Yarra. Schwab. Sends that one wide of the intended target. Not to touch. It's Pavasevic for Fitzroy. And the traditional red, blue and white, kicking from right to left. South Yarra in the same combination of colours, merely inverted. Illich. To his older brother, Miloš. Velez. Puts Bonnier Ospina under a bit of pressure, but he's been very confident on the ball all day. The number 7 playing at left back. Stojlovic. Commitment to playing their way out of trouble, and I think they've played their way into it this time. Cunningham can't find a way past Dos Santos. Illich to the on-rushing Lees. Now the man with 2 goals to his name in the first half, Enrique Pimenta. Floats it to the back stick with his favoured left boot. Headed only as far as Maxim Illich, and now Stojlovic. Step over, lost his footing, came off his hand and out for a goal kick. Illich gives Enrique Pimenta opportunity down the line. Dos Santos recovering possession. Pimenta looks for Stojlovic. Goalkeeper hesitating. It's in the back of the net. But it won't count. Linesman's flag up on the far side. It's the return ball from Dos Santos. Tries to slip it through for Pimenta, who on the slide keeps it alive. Covering defender, Warren Lewis. Sends it behind for a corner. Some nervous moments off these set pieces for South Yarra. They've created chances from their attacking set piece opportunities, but defending them has proved complicated, to say the least. Pimenta's ball in, spot on the money again, danger zone. Kovacevic couldn't get there. Stojlovic went down again, but no change out of the referee. Skipping past Schwab. And now it's a great opportunity again for Papadimitriou. He can't get it on target. Seemed he and Dos Santos just getting in each other's way. Morrissey's denied many opportunities in the second 45. It's AJ Cunningham who gives it up. Papadimitriou. Pimenta. Space to have a crack. High and off target from the left boot of Enrique Pimenta, but always looks dangerous every time he gets the ball. Dos Santos winning it back in a dangerous area. He finds Pimenta. Lees. Cunningham slid in front. Still alive with Lakic. Bonilla Ospina. Now Stojlovic has been bright in this second half so far. Tries to switch it. Gus Getley in the way. Dimitriou just running out of room, kept it in play. Now South Yarra will attack through Morrissey. Maxi Graham gives it up. And there's no escaping these waves and waves of Fitzroy City pressure for South Yarra in this second half. Maxi Milic, Stojlovic in space. Great chance, beaten away by the goalkeeper. The follow-up for Papadimitriou just took too long on it.
Just hasn't been Papadimitriou's day in front of goal. Normally a more prolific centre forward. In case you were wondering about my prolonged silence following the start of the second half, was shoving a future of uppies down the throat. Got to say, Richmond, one of the better canteens in Victorian football. Sorry, Fitzroy City.
Yes, indeed, in Richmond.
Correct. Here at Kevin Bartlett Reserve as a referee requests for
double substitution, it looks like, for South Yarra. Seb would be food at halftime as well, Damir, and it's 2 thumbs up from me. Excellent halftime fare. Well, when they make the substitution, we're drawing attention to the Fitzroy City Junior League, calling all boys and girls aged 7 to 15. 2022 expressions of interest are now open. Sign up now. For more info, contact Dana on 0425 762 283. That's Dana on 0425 762 283. Fitzroy City Junior League. Boys and girls aged 7 to 15. with less now. We'll bring you those changes in a moment. Luke Atkinson, the number 8, has come on the right-hand side. And joining the action as well, Jacob Ross, the number 3. It's Fitzroy City's number 3 making headway. It's just overhit for Stojlovic. Now the danger man, Richie Morrissey, finds the substitute Ross. Put under pressure by Dos Santos. Ben Schwab, 1-1 with Benir Espina and comes off second best. Stojlovic on the break. He's a difficult player to deal with in space, but it's well judged by Maxi Graham, who objects to the challenge.
Gives Stojlovic a little bit of a shove in the back. Good to see that Dummy didn't take any offense to it and retaliate. Because it's one of those games that, as a referee, you know, given it's quite one-sided, you wouldn't want to see any issues.
What a big chance on here again for Papadimitriou, but his touch deserts him. So many opportunities today, so many half chances, I guess we should say, and don't seem to be falling his way. Goalkeeper playing with fire, but passes on target. Maxi Graham finds Benjamin Schwab. Ross has his head up to find Cunningham. Looking for Gus Gatley on the far side, the left back having ventured forward, but I've been impressed with both Dos Santos and Pimenta as the defensive work rate as well. They've been excellent on the ball, but getting back and doing their defensive duties as well. Schwab down the line. For Stavrou, but Larkic positioning himself well.
Give you an round the grounds update
Please,
shortly, Josh.
plenty of fixtures going on today. Victorian football. Schwab to take the throw for South Yarra. That one's wrong-footed Ross entirely and straight through to the Fitzroy City keeper.
It's the big upset of the day is in NPL Victoria, where Avondale have lost at home to St Albans Saints, who, if I recall correctly, have actually been good starters for both of the last 2 NPL Victoria campaigns. Of course, both those seasons were abandoned, as we see a ball played into Papadimitriou. He's got Stojlovic in support.
Stojlovic draws a good save. The South Yarra goalkeeper. Intelligent play from Papadimitriou. Had his head up as soon as he received the ball, scanning for a passing option, and we've got these 2 wide forwards to play alongside in Pimenta and Stojlovic. You're usually going to have someone making a good run.
Goal scorer, in case you were wondering, for St Albans was the youngster Razumic. His first senior goal, not a bad time to score it. It's approaching half-time between Port Melbourne and Green Gully at Jail Murphy Reserve, and it's 0-0 in that one. As you see, quite a cynical challenge there. It's going to be punished. Yeah, with the referee blowing for a free kick.
Not the first time that Enrique Pimenta has been brought down as he's been dribbling at speed.
Must definitely be sore for Menta. He's had a few kicks to the leg throughout the course of the afternoon. In terms of the A-League men's, Josh, Western United got a 2-1 win over in Ballarat thanks to 2 goals from Leo Lacroix. Their opponents were the Newcastle Jets, who got themselves back into the game with a goal via Angus Fergate, but couldn't ultimately find an equaliser.
Stojlovic to loft this one in. Goalkeeper grazes it with his fist, and that's just enough for it to evade the head of Alex Kovacevic, I should say.
Didn't come out confidently there, Lawrence. Luckily for him, no damage done.
Cunningham heads away. Morrissey lays it off for Getley, sliding at full stretch. Just about plays the ball. Atkinson, the substitute, evades the challenge of Maximilic. Now it's the fresh legs of Jacob Ross. Stavru just wrong-footed by that pass. He wanted a free kick, but I think it was just a pass off the mark that left him off balance.
It's been a frustrating afternoon for Stavru. He's had back to the goal for most of it. He's often cut quite an isolated figure in South Yarra's front line, despite some good attacking play from Morrissey.
Here's Getley. Ball falls kindly for Morrissey. He skips past 2 and fires a shot. Never in danger of beating Gabriel Velez.
Sure, Velez would be quite determined to keep a clean sheet. Had that one good save in the first half where he tipped the ball over the bar for a corner. You had to be alert there because back pass was somewhat under hit, but Velez has done well to get the ball out to.
What a ball that is from Enrique Pimenta. Papa Dimitriou now assessing his options. And Maximilic, a glorious chance to make it 3. He can't believe he's missed.
I think it's shaping up to be one of those afternoons where Fitzroy City can't quite believe how they haven't added to South Yarra's deficit today.
They've had so many opportunities to put the game away.
And so many good opportunities as well, where you'd think, for the life of you, that goal was incoming, but it hasn't exactly been the case, and they've still left the door open for South Yarra to potentially get something out of this game.
Illich, great switch. Finding Connolly's. He steps inside. Morrissey back to make the challenge. Lakic. Gets it back from Dos Santos, directing traffic, the captain. Stojlovic didn't quite know where the ball was. Turned his back to the play. Dos Santos feels he's been pushed in the back. Referee not interested. Pimenta, great balance. That's Maxim Illich. Well judged by the covering South Yarra centre half, Ben Robinson. It's always a worry, I mean, when you turn up to a game and your goalkeeper's wearing the wrong socks. Might be a ring-in for the cup tie.
Or it might be those early season blues, I guess.
Wonder if that's a fine.
I would
Stojlovic
assume it is.
taking on Getley. Sends it behind for a goal kick. Last touch off Stojlovic there. Didn't object, so only assume the referees make the right call. Robinson will be forced to clear this one. Deflection falls for Luke Atkinson. Feels he was fouled. Play goes on. Pimenta. 2 in the box to aim for. Instead he cuts it back for Maxi Milic. Pimenta steps around the challenge of Atkinson with ease. Floats it looking for Stojlovic. Getley in the way. Santos. Stojlovic using his body well. Getley's made a few key interceptions today. That's another one. Stavru. Wrong foots Morrissey. And the attack loses just a touch of momentum. He strikes from way downtown. And he's fouled in the process. He looks to be in some pain after that collision.
Yeah, might have gone for the ball, but just got caught the man there, and it's tough knock.
Well, there's no clearer example of a captain trying to take matters into his own hands and picking up the ball and trying to shoot from 40 metres.
Hero ball.
Would have been goal of the tournament. He's caught one on the left hip. It's his second knock of the day. I think he picked up an ankle earlier. Fitzroy City preparing some substitutions in a moment, but I don't think Nick Kovacevic is going to make the cardinal sin of making a change while defending a set piece. And Jay Cunningham to deliver. Looking for Maxi Graham. It's headed away by Lakic instead. Gets him back with Lewis. Runs high, looking for Morrissey. Danilo Bonilla Ospina deals with it well. And Kovacevic has plenty of time to clear. Handball against Papadimitriou. Apparently not. Connolly's to Pimenta. Larkic's pass is off the mark, much to the frustration of his head coach. And Morrissey collected by Kovacevic, who will go into the book, perhaps for repeat offences.
Yeah, Morrissey did quite well to evade Kovacevic there. But the Fitzroy City player drags him down, and ultimately the correct decision being made, as we see Fitzroy City about to make a double substitution themselves.
And it will be Papadimitriou who makes way, as well as Bonilla Ospina. Changes up front and at left back. There's Getley. Happily accept the throw in. Now that man, Richie Morrissey again, would look to shoot from distance. Not too far away. He's determined to get on the score sheet by any means necessary. The second time he's had a crack from 30 metres plus.
Wasn't a bad effort, that one.
Still one you'd expect Gabriel Velez to save if it was on target. He saw it all the way, but plenty of power on that.
Never know how those balls can loop, Josh. I suppose it's a good thing for any goalkeeper is that it's not that windy today, neither is it wet, so it always makes the challenge of not conceding easier.
Just hope he starts getting them on target, otherwise I'll be fearing for my windscreen in the car park.
Ditto. So we see South Yarra about to make a substitution themselves.
Not sure if it's a team sheet error or simply a coincidence, but the player at left back that Fitzroy have brought on is down as Will Lawrence, which is the same name as the South Yarra goalkeeper. So we'll go with that, but apologies if it's not the case.
Oh, two different people write the team sheet, so for each opposing team, you'd think that it's a coincidence at the end of the day. You don't have it happen often, but it can happen. I mean, in Europe, I think there's a half a dozen different Adama Traores, including one playing for Western Sydney Wanderers. Can you think of more examples of it?
Alan Smith.
Yeah,
There's been a couple of Alan Smiths.
different errors.
generations,
Yeah.
but he's also a football journalist of the same name. Jonathan Bithell has come on for South Yarra, by the way, the number 10.
Guess maybe that's a question for Andrew Howe, Australia's premier football statistician.
If you're watching Stato, let us know. Add us on Twitter. Fitzroy City have made another change and he's into the fray very quickly. Diminutive Matthew Loria. Lees with an acrobatic interception. Ross gets there first. Atkinson tries to lay it into his path. He's provided plenty of energy since he's come on, Jacob Ross. Cunningham with a great touch out of the sky, but Illich is waiting to pounce. There we go. Cunningham wins it back, and Illich has sized him down. And looks like there will be a booking here. Not sure if it was for Illich for the challenge or Connor Lees for the time wasting. I guess we'll know if one of them picks up a second.
Go back to the earlier question. I do know that Strathmore, who from memory compared in State League 2, do have an Ivan Franic in their team.
Thought he was lining up for the shot again. Richie Morrissey. Said it was a powerful, driven cross. Bithell. Turning on the afterburners. Dos Santos. Stojlovic taking over. Lakic lays it into the feet of Maxim Illich. Now an excellent ball for the substitute Loria. Maxi Graham heads away. And Loria using his body well and winning the free kick, it looks like. Whipped into the area. Attempted flick on from Maxim Illich. Now, Warren Lewis can't find increasingly frustrated figure of Pavley. Stavros would say. And no foul there, surprisingly. The referee deems that a fair challenge. Two players on the deck. Maria deemed to have played the ball. And now we do have a free kick. As Pimenta is sent up in the air by Bithell. grounds. Back with Illich. Sprays the ball, looking for the advancing, overlapping right fullback. Lees has been put under pressure by Maxi Graham, but wins the throw. And Dos Santos finds another one off Gus Getley. Trying to find room, Dos Santos, twisting this way and that. He's a hard play to mark. And Jacob Ross does just that.
Question, Josh. What do you think is more likely? A Fitzroy City sealer, the long-awaited third goal, or South Yarra to get one back? Maybe for the boot of Morrissey, who's been one player from South Yarra who you can't say hasn't been trying.
He's covered a lot of ground. He's taken shots from range. He's taken it on his own two shoulders. I think, in all likelihood, Fitzroy City eventually find the target for a third. South Yarra goal would certainly make things interesting. I'd love to know the XG in this game. I don't think we do that for round 3 preliminary Australia Cup ties in Victoria.
No, I don't think we do. But
one for Opta to get onto.
Although there was a correspondent for a particular betting page at Fitzroy City games here last season as a particular article in, I believe it was The Age revealed, which profiled, I guess, the
stat collectors around the grounds.
Exactly.
How else will we get our live scores?
And I believe the Fitzroy City president was quoted in that article. He was quite surprised, as I think a lot of people would be, to find out that there are actually people employed to do that at this sort of level and provide regular, up-to-date updates throughout the course of the 90 minutes.
Will Lawrence lost it over the top, looking for Stojlovic.
So it's Lawrence to Lawrence.
There it is.
If you want to get any more specific, Will Lawrence to Will Lawrence.
Pimenta sliding and winning the ball back. Stojlovic. Too heavy on the ball through to Dos Santos.
Yeah, just overhit the pass. Looks like South Yarra will be preparing another couple of substitutions. Of course, teams are allowed 5 substitutions, but they need to make them in 3 intervals, with the exception of the first half and half time.
Matt Laurier playing it into the feet of Damir Stojlovic. He looks to find space for the dink, just off target. Well, he looks the most likely in the second half. It was all Pimenta in the first. Damir Stojlovic had a few cracks at goal in the second. As South Yarra make those changes. Cunningham's flick. Now Atkinson. Assistant referee drawing attention to the foul. Kovacevic has got to be careful.
It's on a yellow. I think his central defensive partner, Illich, has done a good job not to commit Any further challenges in this second half?
Is Morrissey, the ever-present danger.
Be a corner kick here for South Yarra, so an opportunity perhaps to get that desperately needed goal for the visitors and bring this game to life.
Plenty in the box to aim for. Valles up for it and claims well in a crowded penalty area.
That's a good grab from Valles.
Stojlovic looking to make himself available for Dos Santos.
He's not the tallest of goalkeepers, so aerially, I'm sure when the other team saw him, might have been thinking that he's a target at set pieces, but he's overall done a pretty good job over the course of this afternoon to keep them at bay. Even though, you know, when it comes to opportunities on target, as we see a mistake.
Pimenta for the hat-trick! And there it is, 3-0 to Fitzroy City. Enrique Pimenta, after 2 spectacular goals in the first half, wins the ball and creates the third himself. That should be done and dusted. Fitzroy City surely now through to the next round of the Australia Cup. And they've got Enrique Pimenta and his hat-trick to thank.
Well, it's that long-awaited third goal for Fitzroy City. They've been teasing it for most of the afternoon, but finally Pimenta gets his third, grabs a hat-trick, and it's been one of those afternoons for him where South Yarra have just had no answers for the threat that he's brought to this contest.
Starring showing today. We were talking earlier, Damir, about his defensive work rate as well. I think you saw it there, the pressure. One loose touch from Jacob Ross, and he was onto it in a flash. And the finish from a tight angle was placed to perfection.
So a couple of changes coming for Fitzroy City, and it'll be both their centre halves in Pavasovic and Ilic, who will be coming off. Both on bookings, of course.
Astute change from Nick Kovacevic. Doesn't want any suspensions for round 4. It's the MPL 2 and 3 sides will be added to the competition in the next round. So you want your first choice centre half pairing facing attacks of that calibre. Luke Atkinson for South Yarra, trying to keep this one alive. Bit of a space for Richard Morrissey. He finds AJ Cunningham, who twists and turns and loses his footing. Tough one for Stojlovic to control. Can't quite get around Claridge. Markic winning it back. With less than 10 minutes to play, Fitzroy City can see this one out. Nikola Velkovsky is on in the heart of defence. Connor Lees is shifted infield as well. That double centre-back substitution. And Baddeley has come on at right back. William Lawrence might be tempted to go direct now. He's thrown a lot of these short, but he's punted upfield that time to his namesake on the opposition side. Nice touch from Lawrence. Gets it back from Pimenta. Lewis chasing. Goal kick. Any scores from around the grounds to update us on, Damir?
Just have a quick look here. But in terms of the A-League, Central Coast lead Brisbane Roar 2-1. Goals from Nkolo and Muller. Lascano has got a goal back for the Roar though, so 3 imports, all goal scorers. Second half of Port Melbourne and Green Gully has commenced, 55 minutes in, 0-0. Don't have too many other Australia Cup updates on the Football 24 app. Do have a progress score from the New South Wales Premier League though, or NPL, which is Marconi leading 2-0 away to Sutherland Sharks. So plenty of football, not just here in Victoria, but across Australia as we gear into what promises to be a big 2022 season. Hopefully we get a complete one in every state and we're not impacted by any disruptions, and fingers crossed that the clubs in Queensland and Northern New South Wales that have had it tough over the past week or so are able to make a quick recovery and won't be as adversely affected as we might suspect. But some of the footage that we've seen from certain football clubs up there has been quite concerning. I think Mitchelton was probably one such example, as was Brisbane City. So we can only wish all the best to everyone associated, not just with those clubs, but with football in Queensland and also in New South Wales after what's been a difficult week. We're to wise up there.
Absolutely. It's down the line. Looking for Matthew Laria. He knocks it back. Maxim Ilic. It's back with Velkoski. Stavro wins the throw. In fact, it was Atkinson, I should say. Stavro has since gone to the bench. Ross finding Morrissey. Perhaps the wrong option there from Morrissey, but they get away with it, South Yarra. No wide option on this near side. Bithell looking to provide just that. Lewis. One to aim for in the box. Can't beat the first man off the cross. Lukic. The hat-trick hero. Enrique Pimenta finds Dos Santos. It's been a metronome in midfield. Now Stojlovic trying to get in on the action. It's fumbled slightly by William Lawrence, but too close to the goalkeeper to have any realistic danger of finding the back of the net. And now Morrissey gives it away. Maxim Ilic. Not sure if it was an attempted shot or a mishit cross to the open Damir Stojlovic, but could easily have made it 4.
It was a mishit cross. Just had way too much juice on that one.
I think he lost his footing just as he hit it.
Yeah, looked like he was coming off balance as he made contact with the ball there.
Ross. Playing with fire there. There's Robinson. Morrissey finds Cunningham with the throw. Woody Maxi Graham. Surely a foul and surely a booking. Will be a yellow card for Nikola Velkoski. He's been fouled 6 or 7 times today. Rich Morrissey's been in the wars. Wouldn't surprise me if he looks to hit this one straight on target. It is a direct attempt, but it bounces kindly into the bread basket of Gabriel Velez.
Who's been fouled more often, Morrissey or Pimenta?
I actually think Morrissey has copped a few more. Pimenta's probably had the hardest challenges. Biggest tackles go his way. Here he is. Tough man to stop. Now Kevin Dos Santos. Maxim Ilic to switch. Finds Loria. Lakic was open at the top of the box. Instead he goes himself and just drifting wide of the mark. The cutback was on there for the captain. Doesn't score many goals. Thomas Lakic. Looks a little disappointed that his teammate didn't spot him making the late run to the edge of the penalty area. Fitzroy City ball and evaded everybody. Stojlovic in space. Lakic wants a goal. Ball doesn't find him again. Luke Atkinson with a bit of room to work with. And finds Richard Morrissey. He brought on reinforcements at right back to deal with him. Santos picks the pocket of Cunningham. He hasn't stopped running all day. Fittest player on the park, I'd wager. Kevin Robert Messis dos Santos, to give him his full name on the team sheet. Forward by Woody Maxey Graham, and that will be the last action of the 90 minutes. Fitzroy get it done in fairly comfortable fashion in the end. A goal very early stages by Enrique Pimenta was eventually followed by 2 more from the same boot. Number 13 on the wing. Too much for South Yarra to deal with today. Against higher division opposition. It was always going to be a tough ask. But Fitzroy City, preparations for their season going swimmingly. They're into the 4th round of the Australia Cup with a match potentially against MPL 2 or 3 opposition beckoning. Damien Kulash, what have you made of it?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty comprehensive victory for Fitzroy City. Ultimately, the golfing class that separates the 2 teams was on show, and in the end, you've got to say that you're surprised that it was only 3 because while Pimenta had a hat-trick, I think a few more players such as Papadumitru, Ilic, and also Stojlovic might consider themselves a bit unlucky not to have also ended up on the goal scorers sheet, but ultimately a win's a win, and it was a comprehensive one for Fitzroy City. Nick Kovacevic's men can take plenty of confidence from this performance and take it into the next round and also into the season ahead. For South Yarra, I think when you start the way they did, it's always going to be an uphill battle, and ultimately thought they fought well. They were up against a higher quality opposition and they didn't really give in, so you can commend them for battling right till the end there. Had they perhaps converted an opportunity when they were still 2-0 down, they could have made an interim, but it wasn't to be, and they'll look to now
Focus
concentrate,
the regular season.
on the regular season ahead.
Damir, thank you very much for your company today. Before we go, I'll give another plug to the Fitzroy City Soccer Club Junior League. All boys and girls aged 7 to 15 eligible. For more information, you can contact Dana on 0425 762 283 or go via the Facebook page as well. We'll say goodbye here on FNR Football Nation Radio. It's been a pleasure to have your company for this Round 3 Australia Cup tie. The final score from Kevin Bartlett Reserve, Fitzroy City 3, South Yarra 0.